So you based your film, its visual part at least, entirely on footage you found on the internet, on videos you found on the internet. So how did you go on about selecting the material, especially seeing as there are so many propaganda videos on this subject right now?
Yeah, the process was the other way around. We first started to do, we had to do a documentary for our university. It had to be like 20 minutes or something like that. And so we were searching for a theme, and it happened that Matthias went into a refugee camp in Austria, and so we got to know a lot of people and talked to them a lot. We wanted to do a documentary, and first we started to do it like more conventional. So we also tried to film there and make audio interviews. And then it happened that so many people told us they don't want to be shown on camera, of course, for the safety of their families, because they are still in Syria or in Iraq. So we had to deal with the fact that we couldn't show the faces. And so we just did audio interviews, and with the talks with them, they showed us so many videos from the internet and commented them in front of us and told us what we see and how the situation is, and also some videos where they are in the videos where we can see them. And we found them so interesting that we thought we put them on the visual
level.
On the visual level, and
you know, in general, very often we followed the interviews with the video material. So the interviews were there before in many cases,
yeah.
And also the protagonists, they showed us videos, like the videos that they would directly comment and talk about them, they were shown to us by the protagonists themselves. So that's in many ways how we chose it. And then, of course, there was, because you talked about the propaganda issue, of course there was always an ethical question about balancing things out, because we didn't want to make a propaganda movie ourselves, of course, and also not like even not a film with a direct political message. So this issue of how to balance things out, how to leave them in the contradictory way that we experienced the refugee community also. This was like a main goal, so we always had to find opinions contrasting other opinions and videos contrasting other videos and so on.
Yeah.
This was an important issue always.
So the videos you show are both selected by them, the ones you presented to them and some that they presented to you. Was there anything that you showed them that you found that had a particularly strong impact on them so that they wouldn't want to talk about it?
Mostly the videos that they comment directly, they showed them to us. We did a lot of research and found many videos ourselves with a translator and with Syrian friends also. But the videos that the protagonists would directly comment, they were mostly shown to us, I think.
Yeah, but I guess you're talking about the first video where the protagonist tells us he can't talk about it anymore, we need to stop it. This was one video, he showed it to us before, and
but just in a, like when we had dinner together and
yeah.
he showed it to us. So,
yeah, so
we knew the video before, and then we showed it to him, and that's why he got overwhelmed. He didn't expect it in the interview,
yeah.
But 2 weeks earlier he showed it to us, so we knew it. That's why we knew it.
Yeah, and we knew that because for him the situation was really hard in a way, because he was very homesick. He also couldn't accept the fact that he now lives in Austria. For him it was also a hard situation to learn the language. Until now he's still struggling with it, because he couldn't accept the fact that he can't go back home and he can't live with his friends.
So he's always updating with videos,
yeah.
and with Facebook and so on,
yeah.
very much,
yeah.
all the time.
How did you decide on how to structure the film once you had all the material?
Yes, this was the film follows in many ways like a historical guideline from the latest events that changed in a way the history of the Middle East as a whole. So we started with like the American invasion of Iraq and ended up with the rise of the Islamic State. And of course these events are quite connected. We treat like two different countries, but they are in neighboring countries, and it's like the two biggest Arab refugee groups in Austria are from Iraq and Syria. There's also many Afghanis, but the two biggest Arab groups are Syrians and Iraqis. And in a way, the history of these two countries in the last couple of years is quite connected. So we tried to find a way to show also the differences in the events that happened there. Of course, there's many differences, especially how the wars there started and so on. But also we looked for connections, and we followed this historical guideline just also to give some orientation and to give some structure. But this was like mainly our decisions. So we did a lot of research and reading and also traveling, not to these two countries, but to neighboring countries a lot. And so that's how we found the structure, I guess.
And would you consider turning this to a long-term study, like revisiting these people and working on the project, taking on the project again and taking it further, like to see if the people have become integrated in Austria?
I mean,
we do it in private because we to most of them we have still contact, and to some of them we have a friendship now. And for us, for ourselves, it's extremely interesting to follow them and to see how they are doing, and it's totally different. Some really, it was very fast that they got integrated, and with some it's complicated.